Discover the amazing truth: how one heartwarming waltz changed a CEO's life in 30 incredible seconds. The city hall buzzed with anticipation. Emily stood at the back, heart racing, as she stared at the faces of her friends and neighbors. This was their last hope, and if they didn't rally together, her family's beloved dance studio, the very heartbeat of the community, would be lost forever. The images of little girls twirling and elderly couples sharing sweet waltzes flooded her mind, overshadowed by the looming threat of a wealthy developer who sought to turn the sanctuary of joy into luxury condos. As the meeting began, Emily felt the warm grip of nostalgia mixed with fear. Her father, a proud Vietnam veteran, was at home, wrapped in blankets, struggling through his battle with illness. Every day felt like a reminder of how much he had sacrificed for family, and she was determined to keep their studio alive in his honor. Then she saw Claire. The woman was a sharp contrast to the small-town atmosphere, dressed in a tailored business suit that screamed power and success. Emily's heart clenched. Claire had once danced in her studio, twirled with delight as a little girl, dreaming big. But they were worlds apart now. Would she even care? In an unexpected twist, Claire's eyes met Emily's, and for a split second, time froze. Recognition flickered in Claire's expression, blending surprise and nostalgia. The fire in Emily's chest ignited. Hope was blooming. Maybe they could unite to save the studio. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the meeting progressed, Emily proposed a community gala, a historic waltz to honor the studio's legacy. The room erupted with murmurs. Claire stepped forward, her voice smooth yet filled with urgency. Count me in. This isn't just about saving a studio. It's about rekindling our community spirit. Days turned into weeks, and both women found themselves working side by side, piecing together the gala. Claire was the first to admit it wasn't easy. Each time she scrolled on her phone, she was reminded of the distances her success had carved between her and the people she grew up with. Emily wrestled with feelings of unworthiness. Why would someone like Claire care about her dance studio, her dreams? But with every planning session, they discovered shared values, threading their pasts into a single narrative. The memories unfolded like a dance, sweeping them deeper into their respective histories, bridging the gaps that separated their worlds. As the night of the gala drew nearer, anticipation electrified the air. Would the town rally behind them? Could they save the studio and in turn heal their community? Just before the music was set to start, an unexpected twist brewed. The developer threatened to cancel the event unless they paid an exorbitant fee. Standing at the edge of the dance floor, facing Claire, Emily felt their futures hang in the balance. Could they prove that true connection transcends social divides? As the lights dimmed and eyes turned to them, everything teetered on the cusp of transformation, leaving the question echoing in the charged atmosphere: would they rise up together or fall apart? Emily's heart raced as she absorbed Claire's determined gaze. The stakes had never felt higher. They had poured their souls into the gala, and now, to have the rug pulled out from under them felt like a punch to the gut. The developer's threats loomed larger than life, a shadow over all their hard work. Together, Claire whispered more to herself than to Emily, her resolve hardening. We have to show them who we are. Emily nodded, drawing strength from Claire's zestful spirit. The two women, once distant and separate, were now knit together in a shared goal. As the gala hour approached, the studio buzzed with life. Volunteers rushed around busily hanging twinkling fairy lights and arranging colorful bouquets. The dance floor gleamed, a white cloud of hope waiting to be filled with movement. Yet amidst the bustling preparation, Emily felt a tight knot of anxiety in her stomach. What if they didn't raise enough funds? What if the town didn't show up for them? Claire stood beside her, wringing her hands and glancing at the gathered crowd, a blend of old friends and new faces. Do you think they'll come? She asked, her voice barely audible above the chatter. "They'll come," Emily assured her, but uncertainty weighed heavily in the space between them. The ballroom doors opened, and one by one, familiar faces began to emerge, neighbors, former students, and even some who had drifted away over the years. The room began to fill, laughter and chatter spilling into the air like music. Just as Emily began to feel the pulse of possibility, her phone buzzed. A notification blinked to life. It was a message from the developer, an ultimatum spelling out the fee and frightening threats of legal action if they didn't comply. The words felt like cold water dousing the flicker of hope. "Claire!" Emily turned to her, showing her the message. Fear and determination battled within Claire's expression. "We can't let them push us around." "Not now." Emily drew a sharp breath. "But how?" "They have all the power." "Do they?" Claire replied, her eyes glinting with a newfound spark. "Maybe we aren't as powerless as we think. This community means something to these people. They believe in the studio, in dancing. If we appealed to their hearts, they might just step up for us." Moved by Claire's words, Emily felt warmth rush through her chest. They didn't just need to raise funds, they needed to create an emotion, a moment of shared identity. She blurted out, "Let us waltz. Open the floor. We start dancing, we show them our hearts. They'll follow." Claire's eyes lit up. "Yes. We remind them what this place stands for: togetherness, love, and joy." Standing at the center of the floor, all eyes on them, Emily took Claire's hand. The music began to swell, filling the space with a melody both familiar and new. With a deep breath, they took their first steps. The nerves gradually melted away as they began to sway. Each spin brought laughter, each glide drew applause, pulling the crowd into their collective memory. People began to join, cascading from their seats, swarming the dance floor, all moving in sync to a rhythm tied to life lived fully. The studio was alive. Then, as if time folded, everything felt perfect until a familiar voice sliced through the music, a stern call from the back of the room. "Stop this madness." The developer stood tall, arms crossed, a dark scowl thundered on his face, raining on their moment of joy. As the music faded into an echo, the weight of confrontation hung in the air. All eyes turned to Claire and Emily, the moment teetering their dreams and the future of the studio on the brink of failure or triumph. Would they find their voice in the chaos, or would fear shatter their unity? Emily squeezed Claire's hand, determination stealing within her. She wasn't going to let fear win. Would they find a way to turn the tide before it was too late? The room fell quiet, a hushed tension hanging in the air as the developer's voice cut through the remnants of joyous laughter. Emily could feel the heat rising in her cheeks, a mix of anger and fear swirling inside her. This was supposed to be their moment, when they had fought for tooth and nail. She glanced at Claire, whose face was set with a fierce determination that Emily desperately hoped would inspire the rest of the crowd. "Enough of this. You think a little dancing will change anything?" the developer barked, shattering the fragile atmosphere. His eyes blazed as he scanned the crowd, looking for support, a partner in his cold vision for the studio's future. But as he spoke, Emily noticed something peculiar. Faces that had once been passive flashed with a flicker of defiance. People began to shift, a rumble of murmurs breaking out. Claire, holding Emily's hand tightly, faced the developer, her courage radiating like the sun breaking through dark clouds. "We believe in this place, in what it represents," Claire shouted, her voice clear and unwavering. "We've poured our passion into this studio. We've danced here, we've loved here. You can't just take that away." The rhythm of the crowd began to change. One by one, familiar faces stepped forward, echoing Claire's sentiment. Longtime residents, former students, and even newcomers who had just found their way to the studio now stood united, rallying together. They weren't just witnesses, they were a community. "Stop trying to intimidate us," one woman yelled, her hands on her hips, emboldened by Claire's bravery. "This studio is our heart. We won't let it die." Emily's heart swelled as she sensed the tidal wave of energy rising. This was not just a battle for funds, but a fight for their collective spirit. She felt the knot of fear in her stomach slowly unwinding, replaced by something powerful and exhilarating. Claire squeezed her hand tighter, and with a spark of unity, they stepped forward together. "We can't promise riches," Emily called out, her voice louder now, more confident. "But we can promise a home for creativity and connection. This isn't just about money, it's about the memories forged, and the dreams shared." The developer's frown deepened, but Emily saw the crack in his facade. People began to rally, shouting words of agreement and support. Laughter and applause mingled with hoots of encouragement. And just then, something shifted. A heartfelt tune began to play again, a melody so sweet that it felt alive, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Clara looked at Emily, her eyes alight with shared purpose. Time to dance again. Without hesitation, they took their position on the dance floor. They spun and twirled, the room falling into rhythm as if the very air was charged with electric energy. Claire and Emily led the way, weaving between friends, encouraging everyone to join in. Soon, the dance floor was filled, a wave of people expressing themselves in a unified display, laughter bursting forth with each turn. The silver sequins of Emily's dress sparkled under the soft lights, glimmering like hope in an uncertain moment. "Dance, everyone! Dance for what we love!" shouted Claire, and the crowd erupted into cheers, their spirits lifted high. But just as the joy seemed uncontainable, the developer took a step forward, towering above them, eyes like daggers. "Enough of this nonsense! You will regret this," he yelled, his voice trembling with frustration. The laughter from the crowd faltered for just a heartbeat, but Emily steeled herself. She felt the warmth of the community around her, the strength bolstered by shared joy and defiance. This wasn't just about saving the studio. It was about preserving their passion, their friendships, and their history. "Let us show him what it really means to stand together," Emily thought. As they continued to dance fiercely, the music echoed, blending emotions of resolve and fear, leaving an imprint on the air. Would this be enough to change the developer's mind? Just then, Emily caught a glimpse of someone moving toward the back of the room. Someone who had the power to tip the scales. What did that person know? Would they stand with them, or was it too late? The crowd pulsed with renewed energy, a heartbeat of hope and defiance. Emily's gaze darted to the figure slipping through the throng. The familiar silhouette brought her heart to a standstill. Rita, the beloved former teacher, now managing a successful dance studio in the city. How had she shown up now, in this moment of upheaval? Did she see the dangers looming over their cherished space? Rita moved like a whisper through the crowd, her presence commanding yet gentle. Emily felt, "To fight me?" A wave of determination surged within Emily. Could they really muster enough resolve to win? And as the music swelled again, another question sparked in her mind. What did the developer hear on that call? Would it bring him to his knees or empower him to strike harder? The developer's glare sharpened, the tension in the air thickening like fog. "You think your little dance can intimidate me? I have the backing of investors who want progress." His voice shot through the thrumming music, challenging the collective heartbeat of the crowd. But Rita stepped forward, not backing down. "Progress doesn't have to mean losing what makes a community whole," she asserted, the conviction in her tone wrapping around the dancers like a lifeline. "These are not just walls, they are stories, friendships, and dreams." Emily's heart raced as the crowd echoed Rita's words, their chants rising once again, reverberating off the walls like a storm about to break. Hope poured in their chants, and Emily felt the steady pulse of energy as they danced, a wave of bodies communicating a message stronger than words. Suddenly, a woman near the front caught Emily's eye. She was an elderly figure, delicate yet fierce, wielding a cane like a banner. "This is my family's legacy," the woman yelled, her voice cracking with emotion. "My daughter had her first recital here, and my grandchildren will, too." Emily recognized her Mrs. Thompson, a local artist who used to lead community classes in the studio. The sight of her ignited something deep within the crowd. Families surrounded them, faces uplifted, eyes fixed on the stage where Rita and Emily stood. Rita turned to the crowd. "Every voice matters. For every performance that made you laugh or cry, let us dance. And dance they did. The room transformed into a vibrant tapestry of life, bare feet pounding against the wooden floors. Every spin, every leap became a defiant statement against the looming threats. Amid the chaos, Emily felt an arm slip around her. Claire smiled, her breath coming quick with excitement. Can you feel it? We might actually do this. But Emily couldn't shake off a growing sense of uncertainty. The developer wouldn't just stand by while they filled the room with joy. What if he had something else up his sleeve? She glanced toward him, seeing the intensity behind his narrowed eyes. He clenched his phone tightly, as though it were a weapon. Enough dancing! He roared, overriding the joyous rhythm. A heavy silence fell, the music seeming to hold its breath. You think your little revolution means something? Wait until you see what happens next. Chills crept up Emily's spine. What could he possibly mean? The crowd was vibrant and alive, yet she sensed an undercurrent of unease. Then, without warning, the building began to rumble slightly. A low sound echoed from deep within the structure, vibrating beneath their feet. The initial cheer faded into whispers, faces suddenly laced with worry. What might this signal? Rita quickly adjusted her approach, her voice steady. Listen. This space has stood its ground for years. It has witnessed joy and sorrow. We can't let fear dictate our future. Another murmur swept through the crowd. Emily felt the warmth of Claire's hand squeeze hers as they exchanged worried glances. The fight felt heavier now, like lifting the weight of the world. As the developer moved toward the exit, the door opened behind him, causing a gust to burst inside. An official clad in an official suit stepped through, his expression serious. I'm sorry to interrupt, he began, but the urgency in his demeanor captured everyone's focus. There's something vital you all need to know. Emily's heart raced. What news could this official possibly bring? As the air lingered thick with anticipation, the crowd refocused, tension and curiosity amalgamating. The rhythm of hope was still present, but an unsettling realization gripped Emily. What if their fight had only just begun? And just what was the figure in the suit about to reveal? The room had fallen into a hush, the only sound now the faint rustle of fabric as all eyes turned toward the official. He stood under the dim lights, the weight of the moment pressing down on him like a heavy stone. The energy in the air was electric, tension wrapping around every person in the space. Emily felt the crowd's breath collectively hitch, hearts pounding in unison as they waited for him to continue. This community center, he cleared his throat, has been designated as a historic site. A ripple of disbelief coursed through the crowd. It means any development plans will require a review process, a chance for you all to voice your concerns and protect what matters to you. The announcement hit Emily like a burst of sunshine breaking through clouds. Hope ignited in the eyes of familiar faces, stirring a sense of community that battled against the looming threat of the developer. But the official's voice grew serious again. This decision is not final. The developer plans to contest it, to push his agenda regardless of its historical importance. He began to pace, his expression grave. That's why it's crucial that you all remain united. An eruption of murmurings erupted from the crowd, voices layering upon each other in disbelief and fear. What can we do? Someone shouted, while another echoed, we need to fight. Rita stepped forward, her arm gesturing for quiet amid the growing chaos. We'll gather stories. Share the memories that make this place ours. Emily could feel the fire in her heart, a potent rush of determination. Then something shifted within her as she realized the power of those memories. In that moment of clarity, she thought of her mother, the evenings spent rehearsing dance routines in this very studio, the laughter, the shared dreams. Yes, she shouted, surprising herself with her enthusiasm. Let us document everything. Every story, every moment. We'll show the world what this place means. Cheers erupted from the crowd, a chorus of voices finding strength together. Claire squeezed Emily's hand tighter, her own eyes sparkling with excitement. We can create something powerful. But as the crowd swelled with ideas and fervor, Emily's gaze drifted back to the developer. He had retreated to the sidelines, checking his phone, his brow furrowed in concentration. A sharp edge of anger sliced through her optimism. They weren't just fighting for a building, they were fighting against someone who didn't understand their community. What if he has a backup plan? Emily voiced her thoughts aloud, earning nods around her. A hush spread, worry replaced their growing excitement. Rita, catching the weight of concern in the crowd, responded, "We need to act fast. We can't wait for him to make his move." The energy shifted again, turning towards urgency. A torrent of ideas flowed, each more ambitious than the last. Flyers, meetings, a public demonstration. They were brainstorming on the fly, each suggestion spurring new life into their cause. Emily stood on tiptoe, surveying the crowd, their faces a mosaic of emotions, fear blending with determination. She felt a wave of pride wash over her. They were more than individuals. They were a collective voice, a heartbeat, a family fiercely guarding something precious. Just then, the official stepped forward, raising a hand to draw their attention. "While you plan your next steps, there is something else, something that may change everything." He hesitated, and the weight of his pause felt monumental. The energy shifted once more, the crowd hanging on his words, breaths bated, hearts racing. What could be more important than their fight? What possible news could provide another twist to their already turbulent evening? Emily's chest tightened with anticipation, the room buzzing with the thrumming excitement of possibility, and uneasiness settling in her stomach. What could this revelation mean for their future? Would they be ready for what might come next? The official's voice broke through the charged silence. "We've received a petition. It's from a group dedicated to preserving local heritage sites. They are willing to help." A murmur swept through the crowd, a blend of confusion and curiosity. Emily glanced at Claire, who raised an eyebrow. "Help? How?" The official continued, "They want to represent you in the review process. This means legal support, publicity, and a stronger voice at the decision-making table. They believe your stories are powerful enough to sway even the most skeptical." Hope flickered in Emily's heart like a candle catching a breeze. This could really change things," she whispered, her voice trembling with excitement. "Absolutely," Rita chimed in, her own enthusiasm evident. "We just share what this place means to us. Our memories, our experiences." The crowd was buzzing again. Ideas flooded forth, photos, interviews, historical records, all ways to paint the community center as a living testament to their stories. Emily's mind raced with plans. What would they showcase? Old photos of dances? Stories from people who grew up here? Every memory felt like a thread woven into the fabric of their lives, each one a testament to resilience. "We'll need volunteers for organizing everything," Claire added, her excitement contagious. "We can set up a meeting tomorrow." The crowd cheered in agreement. Emily felt buoyed by the collective energy. It was as if their passion had formed a tangible thing in the air, a shield against the development that threatened to erase their legacy. But as the clapping faded into a hum of anticipation, Emily's gaze returned to the developer. He remained at the edge of the room, his expression unreadable, like a storm cloud waiting to unleash rain. Something deep in her stirred. He wouldn't just roll over. He'd fight back. "Let us not get ahead of ourselves," she said, raising her hands to quiet the room. "Yes, we have a chance. But this is just the beginning. He'll come at us harder now." The crowd fell silent, the weight of realism crashing down. The energy shifted, a wave of uncertainty rippling through. Rita stepped forward again, her determination unwavering. "Emily's right. But if we stand together, we can't be ignored. This place, it means everything to us, and we're not giving it up without a fight." With renewed spirit, they discussed strategies, sharing ideas about community engagement and preservation. Emily felt her heart swell with pride. This was more than just a building, it was a legacy. As the conversations flowed, a new thought settled into Emily's mind. "What about a fundraiser?" she suggested. "We can host an event, invite everyone. We can showcase performances, tell stories. Raise funds for our campaign." The crowd erupted into applause again, the spark igniting a series of ideas that felt like a blaze. In that moment, she knew they could build something remarkable together. They could create a movement that pulled everyone closer, reminding each of them why this place mattered. But then, something shifted visibly in the developer's stance. He was no longer merely an observer. He approached the stage, holding his phone like a weapon, his expression hardened with resolve. What was his next move? Was this just the beginning of an even larger battle? Emily's heart raced. Would their community bravery be enough to face his upcoming strategy? Would they be ready for the storm that was about to break? The developer stepped forward, his phone held high like a banner of intent. The room fell silent again, tension palpable in the air. Everyone watched him, heartbeats quickening, a mixture of fear and curiosity coursing through the crowd. "This is not just about a building," he began, his voice steady but cold. "It's about progress. The community center may carry memories, but we're talking about growth, opportunity, and a brighter future." His eyes swept over the audience, scanning their reactions. "I respect your memories, but this city needs to evolve. We can't cling to the past forever." Emily clenched her fists, anger bubbling just beneath her skin. "And what about our future?" she shot back, her voice rising above the murmurs. "You want to erase a part of us because it doesn't fit into your plans? This place is our heartbeat, it carries stories as vital as any construction project." He raised an eyebrow, clearly unfazed by her challenge. "You think a few stories and memories can compete with the funds and jobs a new development could bring? I suggest you brace yourselves for reality." That sting hit hard. The crowd watched, uncertainty creeping back in, but Emily stood tall. "If we let you silence us, who do we become? We're not fighting for nostalgia, we're fighting for our community, our identity." Rita and Claire stood by her side, their expressions fierce, igniting a sense of solidarity in the room. The developer smirked, almost arrogantly. "Keep your voices, keep your memories, but in the end, who will take care of the future? You." But before anyone could respond, a small voice called from the back. It was old Mr. Jenkins. He shuffled forward, leaning heavily on his cane but standing prideful. "I grew up in that community center," he said, voice shaky but steady. "I learned to dance there, fell in love there. That place taught me about life and compassion and the values we hold dear. It brought us together as a family when we had nothing." A ripple went through the crowd, memories echoing in the silence. They thought of birthdays, weddings, dances and laughter shared within those walls. Emily felt her voice strengthen. Each story represents someone still here who cares. If we show what this place has done for us, maybe we can change minds. A chorus of voices erupted, each sharing their own snippets of life, love, and laughter tied to the community center. It was as if the walls themselves were resonating with their stories, pulling everyone back to the heart of what truly mattered. The developer glanced around, and for the first time, confusion marred his expression. Was he feeling the weight of their shared history? "Will these stories mean anything to those who matter?" he asked, the bravado slipping slightly. "Only if you listen," Emily shot back, her heart racing. "Only if you can see beyond the blueprints and the budget." The tension in the room shifted. It was hard to ignore the strength they found in unity. But as hope ignited in the air, the developer's expression darkened again. "You may have a story for now," he warned. "But I am prepared to fight back. You have no idea what I can unleash." Emily felt a chill race down her spine, the realization dawning on her that this battle was far from over. What did he mean by fight back? The fight ahead felt bigger, alive with uncertainty and tension. She glanced around at the faces of her friends and neighbors, hope and fear mingling amongst them. Could they stand strong together against whatever was coming? With a deep breath, she met the developer's gaze. She wouldn't back down. Not now. But uncertainty wrapped itself around her heart. Would they be ready for the challenges ahead? Would their voices be enough to drown out the developer's plans? As they huddled together, preparing to strategize, her mind raced with possibilities. What would it take to win this fight? The battle had just begun, but did they have what it truly required to turn the tide? The room buzzed with conversation, raw emotion swirling as Emily and her friends leaned into each other for support. It felt as if their collective energy could light a fire before it was snuffed out. Emily's heart thudded, each beat echoing the words they had shared, grounding her in the moment. "Okay, we can't just stand here," Rita said, determination shining in her eyes. "We need to rally everyone. Set up meetings, organize our stories, share what this place truly means." "Right," Claire agreed, "and we need to spread the word beyond our little bubble. If we can get enough people involved, we might actually have a chance." Their ideas snowballed from there, a whirlwind of plans and enthusiasm. Emily added her thoughts, envisioning community events and social media campaigns, each inspired by the voices they had heard tonight. This center was more than a building. It was a lifeline, a network of intertwined lives that had fostered joy, heartache, and everything in between. As they sketched out their strategy, the developer loomed in the corner, arms crossed, his smirk fading to a palpable disdain. He didn't care for their stories. To him, they were mere distractions. Emily's stomach churned at the thought. How could someone be so indifferent to the heart of a community? "It's us against him," Emily concluded, looking at her friends. "But we have something he doesn't. We're fighting for our home, and we won't back down." Just then, Mr. Jenkins approached them again, beaming with a sudden spark of nostalgia. "Listen, young ones," he said, his voice carrying a weight of wisdom. "This place and the people it brought together could heal much more than just our connection to the past. It's about who we are and who we aspire to be." Emily swallowed hard, her throat dry. "What do you mean?" He leaned in, his expression turning serious. "There's a story I've kept hidden for too long. About what happened in this center years ago. It changed lives. It could help you rally the community around you in ways you might not have imagined." Her interest piqued. Emily found herself hanging on his every word. "What do you mean?" "We should do whatever it takes to use that. It's a tale of a dance and a promise made," he said, eyes glistening. "But it's not just mine to tell. It belongs to all of us." The shadow of doubt slipped away as Emily understood. This was the heart of the matter, the spirit that could fuel their fight. They needed to share stories beyond the walls, bring in those who had once danced and loved, who felt the heartbeat of the community thriving around them. "Can you share it with us?" she pressed, her heart racing. "We need to use it. Every voice helps." Mr. Jenkins nodded, and with a smile, he gestured for them to follow him to the old community center stage. "Gather everyone, and let me weave the past into your fight. It's time we painted our future with the colors of our shared history." As they moved together toward the center, excitement surged through Emily. The stories they would uncover could ignite something powerful, an awakening of spirit that this developer hadn't prepared for. But with each step, another question gnawed at her. Would their past be enough to change the future? And what secrets lay buried in the threads of those memories yet to be uncovered? The night ahead was filled with potential, but danger still loomed. Would they be ready for the truth? And could a single dance alter the course of their fight? The night had grown deep, but hope glimmered like the stars outside. The old wooden stage, worn from years of laughter and dancing, stood ready to cradle past stories. Emily felt a swell of excitement as she gathered everyone, neighbors, friends, family, carried in by determination to weave their future. Mr. Jenkins stood at the forefront, a beacon in the shadowy dimness. "This place isn't just where we dance. It's where we discovered ourselves," he began, his voice warm as honey, full of memories. "Long ago, a troupe of dancers performed here. They weren't just showcasing skill, they were sending a message." The crowd leaned closer, jaws tight, anticipation sparkling in their eyes. They danced through despair, a time when this community faced darkness. The message was clear: even in struggle, we find light together. Gasps filled the room, a collective breath of realization. Each story threaded Emily's heart to those listening, sparking flames of unity and resilience. They weren't just fighting to keep their studio, they were rallying for a legacy, a continuum of spirit woven through generations. Every performance brought laughter, Mr. Jenkins continued. Every waltz told a tale of love, hope, and the indomitable human spirit. Claire nudged Emily, excitement radiating from her. We need to capture this. Let us film his story. Let us remind everyone of the connections that breathe life into this place. Right. Emily shouted, the energy in the air shifting once more. We'll create a video montage. Everyone will share their memories. Dance, interviews, anything. This is bigger than our time. It's for every dancer who walked these floors. Encouragement flooded through the crowd as people discussed their memories. Laughter blossomed, and the tension that had surged earlier melted away amidst shared anecdotes. This is our life. It's more than bricks and mortar, shouted Mrs. Thompson, her voice echoing determination. We need to shine light on what this place has given us. As they brainstormed, Emily felt the weight of her own worries lift. They were not alone. Everybody was charged up, reflecting the strength of their community. They would craft a story bold enough to shatter the developers' cold ambitions. Time passed unnoticed as the gathering transformed into a powerful force. Conversations erupted. Ideas sparked like fireworks, lighting up the darkness. The unmistakable rhythm of hope rose louder than before. Just as they laid down plans for the video, the room vibrated again with energy. Claire caught Emily's eye, her emotions raw. Let us dance one more time. For those memories, for what we want to protect. Everyone joined hands, their bonds tightening, decades of love shining brightly. As they stepped onto the dance floor, the music played softly, a haunting melody that beckoned them all to remember. Anxiety melted under their feet. They swayed in a waltz, laughter mingling with the notes, hovering in the air, feeling the carpet of shared stories beneath them. The moment was nothing short of magic. As they twirled, memories came alive, each heartbeat punctuating the importance of what they fought for. The past surrounded them, folding into a present rich with hope. But then, as Emily felt untouchable under the soft glow of the chandelier, she saw a shadow at the door, the developer lurking, watching, his expression tight. For a fleeting second, anxiety pulsed in her chest. Would he dare to break in again? Keep dancing! Emily shouted, the thread of fear igniting her passion. Let us show him who we are. The crowd cheered, their collective will leapfrogging over doubt. He turned away, retreating into the night, but not before hearing the strength in their voices, the belief resonating through every note. Emily felt a potent force, a community that would not back down, a legacy they would protect at all costs. Finally, as the swirling dance came to a close, a warm silence enveloped them like a comforting hug. Each face was aglow, eyes brimming with renewed conviction. We have our story, Emily declared, heart swelling with pride. And we will make sure the world knows it. Together, we will fight for our home, our heart, and for all generations to come, just like our predecessors did. This is who we are. Cheers erupted once again, reverberating through the studio, the walls echoing the truth of time. They would not let fear decide their fate. It was more than preservation. It was love, it was unity. As they wrapped up the night, hope soared higher than ever, glowing like a beacon against all odds. This was more than a dance. It was a testament to what they believed in. Their journey was just beginning, and they were prepared to raise their voices loud and clear. From that point on, they would transform their struggles into harmony, documenting every story, every shared moment. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a revolution of community spirit that would empower them against any darkness. And with that, the essence of the dance studio would continue to thrum within their hearts, a legacy of love that would never fade. Don't wait, not even one more second. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You need to show your support. True fans know how important it is.